Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students, and welcome to the English classroom in Azali Institute of Medical Sciences, Peshawar. I am your English teacher, Sumaira Hatak. Today I am here with the third lecture on the blanket, that is the unit 12th of grade 11, and that is specifically made for second semester student of all of the technologies. As you know that we have given two lectures on the blanket. In the first lecture we have just introduced this unit, the blanket, and we have explained the main points, the main things that is there in the blanket. And in the second lecture we have started text explanation. So in this video we will continue this text explanation. So today we will take start from here. It was like granted to be saying that he was trying to make it easier ever since they had talked about going away. Grandit had said it was his idea. Imagine leaving a warm house and friends to go to that building, that government place where he would be with so many other old fellows, having the best of everything. But Peter had not really believed Dad would do it until this night when he brought home the blanket. Oh, yes, it's a fine blanket, Peter said, and got up and went into the house. He wasn't the kind to cry, and besides, he was too old for that. He had just gone and to get Granddad's harmonica. So it was like Granddad who was saying like that, as he was trying to make it easier for him. So whenever they talked about Granddad's departing away, Granddad's going away to an old age house, Granddad always said that that was his idea. He said that that was my idea. I myself wanted to leave. I myself wanted to depart. As he was trying to defend his son, as he was trying to defend Peter's fathers. So here we come to know that he was a very fair kind of person and did not want that Peter may think something wrong about his father. But Peter did not really believe that, and of course he did not really he did not really think that Dad would do it, that Dad would send his grenade away to an old age house until and unless he brought this blanket. Is Peter was becoming very emotional, and that's why he said not much. He just said, "Oh yes, it's a fine blanket. It's a good one." And then he got up and went into the house. It is said that it was not his nature to cry, but now here he is too weak for tear shedding. He can't control himself without crying. So he cried, and then he went inside the house and got Grandad's harmonica. So the next paragraph. The blanket dropped to the floor as the old man took the harmonica. It was the last night they would have together. Neither the old man nor the young boy had to say a word. Grandad played a few notes and then he said, you will remember this one." As the old man took the harmonica, the blanket dropped off to the floor. Here it is a very emotional scene. As it would be their last night together. That's why both of them are very sad. Both of them are very emotional, you can say. And there was complete silence. Neither the old man nor the little boy has something to say. Both of them were silent as they were trying to hide their pains from each other. And then the Grandad played a few notes and said, you will remember this one. Here in this way he is trying to ease his heart from the burden that is there due to leaving his house. The moon, the next paragraph, the thin moon was high overhead and the gentle breeze blew down the valley. The last time Peter thought he would never hear Grandad play again. It was will that Dad was moving to a new house away from here. He did not want to sit here outside on fine evening under a white moon with Granddad gone. The music ended and the two sat for a few minutes in silence. Then Granddad spoke. Here is something happier. So explaining this paragraph. Here again, it is about the weather, about the setting of the story. Actually, the writer creates such expressions like about the weather, about the setting, in order to make his writing more appealing. For the last time, Peter thought he will not be able to hear his granddad play again, and that's what makes him scared, and that's what makes him very sad, and that what makes him worried. And then he thought that it is a fine and then he thought that it's fine that dad is moving to a new house away from here, because he did not want to sit here in the evening time without granddad gone. He would rather feel disgusted in the absence of granddad in this house. It was Peter who was thinking like that. Then Granddad ended the music and both of them sat for a few minutes in silence. Then Granddad said, "Here is something happier. Here is something interesting." As he wants to distract Peter's attention. But the next paragraph, Peter sat and looked out over the valley. Dad would marry that girl, yes, that girl who had kissed him and who had said she would try to be a good mother to him, and that all. Peter sat and looked over the valley. Dad would marry that girl, yes, that girl who had kissed him and who had said that she would try to be a good mother to him, and all that. Here, the Peter thoughts were still focused. He was thinking about his family, is what has been happening to the family, is his dad is going to marry a girl, that girl that had kissed Peter superficially, and the girl claimed that she would try to be best mother, and that was all that. The tune stopped suddenly, and Grandad said it was poor tune except to be dancing to. And then it was a fine girl your father's going to marry. He will feel young again with a pretty wife like that. And what would an old fellow like me to do around the house? And then there will be babies coming, and I don't want to be around listening to them cry all hours of the night. No, it's best that I leave. Will one more tune or two, and then we will get to bed, get some sleep. In the morning I will get my new blanket and take my leave. Listen to this. It's a bit of sad tune, but a nice one for the night for a night like this. In these lines, the old man is trying to make Peter easy, and he tries to make him realize that he is not sad while leaving the house. For this reason, he played harmonica for him, and here he and then he stopped suddenly as it comes to his mind that his son means Peter's dad is going to marry a girl. He said, "It is a good girl your father's going to marry. Of course, she will change his life. She will bring happiness for him, and your father will feel young again. And then it would be rather odd for me, like for an old fellow like me to talk about his plans, to to talk about his edges all the time, and I'll just make an obstacle for them, so it will be good for me to live. uh, and then he said that I should leave. I have to depart. I because he don't want to be an obstacle for his son, to be the source of obstacle for his son. And he said that I don't want to be disturbed by the babies, because the babies will cry all hour of the night. So it would be good for me to leave. And then he said that I will take my blanket as well. Then he said, listen to this one. It is a bit of sad tune, but a nice one for the night like this. He said that although this tune is a sad one, but now it is a good one as well, because the night is also a sad. So this tune is quite suitable for such a night like that. Then they did not hear the next paragraph. They did not hear the two people coming down the road, Dad and the pretty girl with a hard, bright face like a doll. But they heard her laugh, and the tune stopped suddenly. They did not even the two people coming down the road, because their hearts were too heavy. They both were panicked, and they could not and they could nothing to and they can do nothing to avoid this departure, to avoid this departing away. That's why they even didn't notice the two people that were coming down the road. But they heard the laughing of that girl to whom Peter's date was going to marry. Uh, sh- the next paragraph. Date did not say a word, but the girl walked up to the granddad and said prettily, I'll not be seeing you in the morning, so I came over to say goodbye. It's kind of you, said Granddad, looked down at the floor, and then seeing the blanket at his feet, he bent down and to pick it up. And will you look at this? He said, sounding himself like a little boy. Isn't this a fine blanket my son has given me to go away with? Yes, she said, it's a fine blanket. She felt the wool again and again, said, a fine blanket indeed. She turned to Dad and said to him coldly, must have cost a pretty penny. Here in this paragraph, here it said that Dad has nothing to say because he was feeling embarrassed due to his behavior. And the girl walked up to Granddad and said prettily, I'll not be able to see you in the morning. That's why I came over to say you goodbye. And the Granddad said that it's kind of you. And Granddad then looked down at the floor, and then seeing the blanket at his feet, he bent down to pick it up. And will you look at this? He said, sounding himself like a little boy. Isn't this a fine blanket my son has given me to go away with? Yes, she said, it's a fine blanket. She felt the wool again and said, a fine blanket indeed. She turned to Dad and said to him coldly, must have cost a pretty penny. In fact, in these lines, the easygoing, the innocent nature of the granddad has been shown by the writer. The granddad showed the blanket to that girl and said that, look at this, it's a fine blanket my son has given me to go away with. Here in these lines, the greediness of this girl has been showed. She felt the wool again and again and talked about the price, that it must have high price. So students, that is sufficient for today. And if you have any question, if you have any confusion, you can ask in the comment section. And so we will meet in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and Allah Hafiz.